Okay, I think we can get started. Welcome to today's monthly Longhorn update, Mia update. So I want to share something like our recently feature release 130 and upcoming 131 patch release. So let me share my screen. Okay, yeah, let's take a look 130 first. Actually, 130 already released in June 15. So it's our very important feature release, including several enhancement, improvement, even bug fix, or even performance. So one outstanding is also we updated our API versions. So this is something I want to share here. So let's take a look at the release notes. I highlighted several items here, so I will just share this item first. But beyond that, we still have many items in 130, so you can take a look, including every different areas. Okay, so the first one, let's talk about the support multiple network cache cluster. In the past, several community users asked, is possible Longhorn can support a dedicated storage network for our data plans? In the past, before 1.0, we cannot do that. We just rely on the cluster network for Longhorn control plane and data plane. But in 1.3 level, we leverage modules. User can create another network detachment resource to create another interface for our data plane components, including like instance managers, engine, and replica running in the instance managers can leverage that secondary interface. So the load manager can communicate with the instance manager through a control cluster interface, but rest of them we just leverage a storage interface. So that means user can increase the throughput for their data traffic. So this first one, and we have an enhancement proposal for that. So if you want to dive into the detailed implementation and design, take a look and try it. Of course, for Longhorn, we will not handle motors deployment and installation, but we have a guidance and tutorial to let user to know how to leverage motors. But for detailed installation and deployment of motors, you can refer to the motors documentation. Okay, so the next one is the support managed Kubernetes cluster. Actually, in before 1.0, a lot of users already use the public cloud, like Kubernetes distro on public cloud, EKS, GKE, and AKS. But they sometimes have some questions about upgrade and no replacement, or even like they want to do some they want to do some no replacement, but encounter some part disruption, question, and problem. So in this enhancement, we including this issue together and verify the three major public cloud Kubernetes distro support: EKS, GKE, and AKS. So if you want to understand how to, when you do the Kubernetes upgrade on these platforms, how to do any uh, management way adaptive for Longhorn. This actually happened in 130. And we also have a detailed documentation for the several areas. So you can take a look, including upgrade and no poor replacement. And also for some specific vendors like AKs, they will have a no reimage. So we also mention the detail how how long work with this kind of different scenario for upgrade and no poor replacement. Okay, and third is about CRD. In 1.0, we introduce V1 Beta 2 because we want to have a schema validation, and we also introduce the Snapshot CRD, this is the new CRD, and also some validation, mutation, and validation webhook. However, V1 Beta 1 is not just removed. We still want to make it support if user already use Longhorn before 1.0, make it compatible, but it will be deprecated, and V1 Beta 2 will be a default version of a customer resource, our resource API. And so how can we do that? We introduce the conversion webhook. It's actually this item, conversion webhook. And conversion webhook can make sure whatever version you are using at the moment, and you will convert forward to V1 Beta 2. So even you already have a V1 Beta 1 resource, but when you access the Longhorn and using the Kubernetes API, and you will see the correct version in V1 Beta 2. So this conversion webhook. And for detailed design, you can see the tickets. We have a detailed explanation and conversation in ticket. And like I say, take this chance because upgrading to V1 Beta 2, we introducing the validation to move some part of validation from Longhorn control plane, a special API label, move to the validation webhook. So that means in the future, in near future, you can complete handle Longhorn operation via Kubernetes customer resource, Longhorn resource. For now, for sure, you can do that, but there's not 100% to move a logic for Longhorn manager control plane level to validation webhook. So this is something we move a major part, but something is customized for the UI parts. We still will be planning to update and improve in the future. Okay, this is about the validation and also mutation webhook. We try to mutate and to let it correct the user input and correct the right input from the resource operated by users. Okay, so this is about the mutation webhook and also conversion webhook for the version customer resource version compatibility. And because we talk about customer resource, right? So a new thing is we introduce a snapshot CRD. This is the last piece of resource we want to introduce in the Longhorn. So that means user can operate the snapshot CRD to do the replica snapshot. So this is something different because in the past you only can operate it from the UI, or even you want to operate against the Longhorn manager via Longhorn RESTful API. But RESTful API is more like an internal API, it's not actually public. So right now we have a snapshot CRD, so that means you can do it officially because including a validation, and mutating webhooks as well. Okay, so this is about the CRD. And the next one is clean up often unused volume replicas. Sometimes your replica will encounter fail and new replica is just getting rebuilt, and the old replica will be often there, and later the volume get deleted. The replica will not be deleted accordingly. So later along the time, the orphan replica is just getting gross and occupy your storage system, right? Storage space. And there's no way for user to clean up this one. And usually if we see some feedback from the community, user will ask how to free our space usage. So we will suggest them go into the specific node and check around your long disk space and figure out which replica is not actually used by any volume. Then you are free to delete them. This is the manual way. So in 1.0, we try to introduce automatic way to help user to operate, also integrate into our UI. So from the UI, you can enable it enable automatic clean up your open replica in each Longhorn disk. So they will be very beneficial because this automation, so user no need to do anything. We will just periodically check. But if you just worry about probably the replica you want to retain for some purpose, you can disable it for sure because this is actual option in setting. So you can disable it, and but we will collect information from the UI. You can check how many open replica in your long disks. And also at the same time, open is also a need. We provide a customer resource, so you can check from a kubectl to understand how many open resource there, and what's the detail, and the open resource stay in which long disk, which node. So you will better understand your disk usage. So this is quite useful for users and requests a lot from the community. Okay, cool. So next one, CSI Snapshot. CSI Snapshot actually support before. We support, you can use the snapshot, CSI Snapshot to pick up long volume, like replica data. However, we want to, because Longhorn, we have a two concept. One is a snapshot, the other one is an external backup. So before 130, all the CSI snapshot is actually mean external backup and restore. So we want to do the same thing to support the internal backup and restore. They mean Longhorn snapshot. So in 130, you can start to using CSI snapshot to specify which type you want to do the snapshot. So you can type as a Longhorn snapshot or Longhorn backup, and restore from Longhorn backup or restore from Longhorn snapshot. So they will provide the different functionality combination for user to understand how they protect their data, and in cluster, out of cluster, how do they can restore their data from the backup in cluster or external cluster. Provide different option for user to print about their data protection strategy. Okay, next, instance manager compatibility with cluster autoscale. This one is new, and people ask about several feedback about previous about cluster autoscale support. When cluster autoscale support no growth, there's no problem for Longhorn, but no down there'll be problem for Longhorn because Longhorn is not aware of that, so we cannot handle well related to our current party disruption budget. So that means if you tear down the node, the part disrupt budget, you will just lock there. If there's only one healthy node, you will not freeze PDB. So right now we have a different strategy for that. We let a PDB deployment like a dynamic, so that the user can able to do that. And like I say, it's an option adapt dynamic PDB management. So when you cluster, scale it up or scaling out or scaling down, and so you will understand how the PDB is actually limited for node, or actually is limited to the volume. So we do some change for that. And however, we want to make these features experimental first to hear more feedback from the users. So if you have a need for the cluster autoscale, you can try. Okay, next, snapshot purge improvement. And the first snapshot behind the volume, we cannot do any purge. But in this version, we introduce this one to make user is able to purge the first snapshot behind the volume to better leverage their disk space usage, save their usage, space usage, disk usage. So, but we call it another term is called snapshot prune, and this can help user to save their to have a better disk strategy about disk usage. And because we all know Longhorn volume replication has a replication, and it's like full replication. So the same will be related to the volume snapshot. So try to save the snapshot usage. That will be beneficial for user to understand how Longhorn use disk space for each volume, each record, or each snapshot. Okay, cool. So next about a download backing image. The download backing image right now before 130 we have a different functionality for backing image. You can download from remote, or create the volume from the backing image, or even export the backing image, create backing image from a volume. So you can do this way. But people start asking, I can export I can create a big image from existing volume, but after create, can I download it? Or even another question, I have a running volume, I want to backup, but I don't want to backup to an external backup target. How can I backup? How can I download a backup? Has any way to do that? And yes, we can do that right now in 1.0 because we allow user to download back image. So that means in your case, you can uh, you can create the backup image from a volume and just download the backing image from the UI directly. So this now provide another way for user to how they can manage their backup through the backing image. Okay. And next one, MTLS authentication for major and IAM components. Yeah, probably some people already know how Longhorn works, but probably some of you guys don't know yet. Actually, Longhorn Manager is our component, and we try to communicate with our data plane components through the instance manager, and all the engine process will just a process create in each instance major engine or instance major replica in each node. And before 1.0, there is no any security communication between, but we have some guidance and to understand the communication just limitation for these two nodes, these components. However, we want to provide a more aggressive way to secure the communication. So MTLS user can provide a configuration, a certificate or key to encrypt the communication between the Longhorn manager and instance manager. So that will be make the communication much secure. But we provide this one is option in because probably user don't want to break the current change because they don't want to scale down the application and scale up because everything change here you need to scale down your workload and restart. But this is an option for user if you want to have a security communication among the components in Longhorn. Okay, last one I want to highlight is about another new architecture we support here is S390X IBNZ. We add this new architecture and along with MD64 and ARM64, and we set up the testing pipeline together with other architecture, and it passed our verification. So we just want user know in different architecture we try to extend. So if you are running on S390X, but you still want to try the Longhorn, and I think 1.3 is a good version for you to start experimenting Longhorn. Okay, so overall is my the highlighted items in 1.0, but we have, like I said, we have a lot of issue improve and fix in 1.0. So if you're interested, take a look. Okay, so this is about 1.0, but not end yet. I also want to share a little bit about upcoming 1.3.1. So let me share the screen again about 1.3.1 release. Yeah, great. So this is about 1.3.1. We plan to release next week. It's like August. August 11th. So 131 including some several fix happen in 130, and user, if you did not install 130 yet, probably you can wait for several days until 131 release, and you can try it to see how it can improve, because several items here, not just some issue happened in 130, we also get some improvement in 131. Let's quickly take a look. The first one is a space usage. uh, we get a lot of feedback from the user when they have some failed replica on disk, but the disk is full. And however, the replica will get in review, and you will not choose that disk because the disk is full, is unschedulable. So in this ticket, we will we will regard this disk still visible for the replica rebuilding. We try to leverage a failed replica on that to see, okay, this is the same as before, that belong to the same volume, and his deal is reasonable and safe to reuse. We will try to reuse it. So that means user will be keep reusing the previous fail replica. They don't need to rebuild in another disk, and including extra replication efforts and extra space usage. So this will be the very, I think it is quite important improvement if you care about the disk usage. Okay, the second one is about performance. We try to reduce some system code between engine and replica, and especially reading and writing the request message between both components. So they will be improve our read and write performance. And we even see the 5 to 10 percentage improvement in IOPS latency and throughput. So you can take a look at this ticket. We have some benchmark information inside. So take a look to see how improvement in 130, 131. And also we try to see how we can improve the TGT to engine parts, do the same thing as I say for the engine and brake cuts. But we still need more testing. So probably will not in 131, but we plan to add into 131 or even 132. Okay, the next one is about the memory allocation, GCC allocator in Longhorn. Longhorn is a C library, like a Longhorn client library, and we use this GCC memory allocator, and we try to reuse the other one and to improve that the memory usage. And we get some improve there. So take a look. This one also some performance improve as well. And purge, yeah, this one is like in 130 we have a snapshot prune, and in 131 we try to improve a little bit. We want to do some, when the replica doing the rebuilding, we want to purge first, and rebuilding then purge. Before 131, every time we rebuilding, we will rebuilding first, then purge. But you will cause extra space usage. So in 131, we will do a purge first, rebuilding, and purge. They will decrease the space usage. Okay, next, schedule volume based on available disk space. Yeah, this is another space usage. You want to make sure we leverage well for the current disk space usage. Okay, so recognize the default tolerance and no selector to allow Longhorn to run on the RKE mixed cluster. Yeah, this is another improvement, because we know some community users, I will not say some, many community users actually run Longhorn on top of Ranger, Kubernetes distro, RKE or RKE2, and there's some special integration with Longhorn. You can install Longhorn on top of a mixed cluster, including Linux node and Windows node. In that case, we have a customized setting in our home deployment. So for user, you can just use a one flag, and rest of part we will handle no selector or toleration to let your that to let the Longhorn can run on this mixed cluster. Okay, and also some performance improvement like turn a node down and up workload take a long time to come back, like step set because some operation happen against the volume attachment, and when user try it, they will feel okay. It's something quite slow, and or even you enable when a setting long setting, uh, tear down the pot when the node down, and they will see some pending until the new pots going up because the volume attachment um, volume attachment management uh, at in Kubernetes side. However, from the Longhorn side, we try to uh, improve a little bit about the deletion orders. We want to make sure the volume attachment delete first before deleting the pot. So this is something different. We enhance this part. This will increasing the pot launch time. However, still is like a reasonable setting based on the Kubernetes. So, but for users, they will be improve their user experience. Okay, cool. So many items here, and you can take a look at 131. As I say, if you did not install 131 yet, or even not upgrade to 130 yet, you can wait for 131 because it is planned to release next week. So you will be ready soon and you can enjoy. Okay, cool. So again, if you have any question, I think this is all about this month's update. So if you have any question, issues, or design or new feature request, improvement request, feel free to create issue in Longhorn GitHub repo, and also ask question in our Slack channel as well. Probably there will be some delay response because we are busy on release, but our members, our contributor, will get back and we reply as soon as possible. Okay? Yep, I think that's it. This is for today and this month's Longhorn meetup and update. See you next month.